Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, to Stephen Murray's very first draft for Xtremetrades.co.uk. I hope I will be able to draft acceptably in this. I haven't recorded any games like this before, so I'm going to try really hard to talk about stuff and also play reasonably at the same time. If I don't, then at the very least, you all get to laugh at me the next time you see me. Uh, Looking at my first pack here, I am kind of immediately drawn to the Contagion class because I really like it. I have not drafted an Izuri before. I've had it played against me. I've had double Izuri played against me before, but I don't really feel like committing myself to a non-poisonous green deck. Well, I guess he does go in the poisonous green deck, but he only really works with Tel'Jalad, and Contagion class goes with basically every deck. The next pack we have an awesome shiny looking dual land, a Blight Mamba, which is pretty good for the Infect deck, not as good as say Plague Stinger or Necropede, and a Silvok replica, which I quite like, being an artifact and artifact removal both. The rest of the pack is not very exciting. Sky Ale School is alright, but he's not an artifact, and blue's not especially exciting. Fume Spitter is pretty good as well, but I don't think I want to go straight for that right now. I'm not a huge fan of the poison deck. However, a Contagion clasp is really good to help finish people off, and 2-drops are pretty cool. So despite passing that Azuri there, which kind of signals a different green deck, I'm willing to go for try and force poison because, well, if you're gonna go poison, you gotta go poison, right? Well, here we are. I'm always a huge fan of Tumble Magnet. I think it's definitely one of the best commons if you're aggressive. Even if you're not particularly aggressive, but it's just so good at locking down creatures with equipment and getting in your guys before they can stabilize. Bellowing Tangleworm is pretty large. It's pretty hard to kill, so it is definitely pretty tempting to take that. It's another dual land, so maybe I can draft some of those for my collection later. But I'm gonna go with Tumble Magnet for now because even though I took the Blight Mamba, there's no guarantee I'm gonna be able to get the poison deck, and Tumble Magnet is perfectly fine in Metalcraft decks. However, there is a Tangle Angler, which is really one of my favourite cards if I do get to play Infect. It just has so much toughness and is so versatile with drawing creatures in, assassinating creatures in when you have equipment, and makes me not feel terrible to play Infiltration Lens, and because normally normally people play it and their opponent don't actually have to block for a very long time. So yeah, I'm going to take the Tangle Angler and be quite excited about that. Well, I guess I shouldn't have been too concerned about the passing the earlier Bellowing Tangleworm. Yeah, because here's another one. The other cards, the black cards I've seen so far, like Fume Spitter, is perfectly fine, but I know I'm definitely going green poison. I would expect some black poison to come round, but if not, I know I can definitely play this Bellowing Tangleworm, and it's going to be pretty good with Blight Mamba or any Tel'Jalad Fallen I get. Um, there are again another couple of cards for the poison deck here. Untamed Might seems really good for any number of poison guys. Tainted Strike gets better the less focused your poison deck is. For example, if I had a bunch of Burrowing Tangleworms but not actually that many poison guys, then you can play it and hope to get there. It's also pretty good with Molder Beast. However, at the moment, I'm going to hope to get enough poison guys that Untamed Might will be the consistent game ender you always hope it will be. And this pick doesn't really take any explanation. Corpse Curse, one of the best poison guys, just because you quite often run out of gas if they can answer your 2-drops and 3-drops pretty effectively. And getting multiple cards is pretty hard for people to stop. Basically, the other cards are not very exciting, so and there's the Tailjaw had fallen, which is definitely getting picked here. It is miles better than Black Cave Goblin, who, while similar on the face of it, is of course much more vulnerable to dying to things, considering most of the 1/1s in the format are mirrors and therefore don't get blocked by Tailjaw had fallen. And is Yuri tabled, which is quite interesting. I mean, I kind of wanted to pick him at the start simply because he was a rare and I haven't had a chance to actually pick him myself yet. But I think I'll take this guy. Relic Putrescence is pretty abysmal. The other cards I don't really care about other people having. And if I get enough Izuris, elves to work with Izuri, you never know, he might make it in. Out of these cards, I don't want to play against Wall of Tanglecord. Out of these cards, I've seen Psychic Miasma being played by approximately one good player. I secretly like Viridian Revel, even though I suspect I'd probably overrate it a little after being roughly 10 for 1 at one of the pre-releases. However, I quite like it. There's not too much to say about these last ones. The only card I'm more inclined to hate this Moriok Reaver rather than the 5-mana guy, simply because it's one of the few 3-drops that can actually trade with Cistbearer. It's actually quite a good sign that it was all black cards at the end there, because even though none of them were poison guys, if there's not a black player interested in taking those, then maybe some black removal spells might get round to me later on. Pack 2, I see yet another dual land, which is of no interest to me. A grafted exoskeleton, which again, a bit like Tainted Strike, gets a lot better the less infect guys you have in your deck. At the moment, I don't have that many infect guys, and I don't really. Hopefully, I won't have to play, say, Corrupted Harvester. It's perfectly alright with Izuri and Billowing Tangleworm. There aren't any green creatures to take. However, I actually want to experiment in this draft. I actually want to take this Throbbing Bird, considering I have some poison guys, I have Tumble Magnet, and black green poison's been done a lot. It seems more exciting to me maybe than taking Contagious Nim. Yeah, alright, I'll just go for that. It seems fun. Show you guys a fun thought experiment. Although obviously I'll probably regret that, not just taking the solid Contagious Nim. Because if I don't get the appropriate artifact, 2-drops or more Blight Mambas, I'm gonna be very unhappy. Here we have another untamed mite, contagious nim, infiltration lens, and bladed pinions as options. And obviously no no more tumble mites or anything. It is as much as I'd really like to try the thrumming bird, steady progress poison plan, there isn't really a lot to take here. I mean, untamed mite is pretty good, but I don't have that many poison guys. I guess I might as well go for it. I'll try and maintain my plan as long as I can go until I can go no further. Here we see no more poison guys, black or green, or artifact. Infiltration lens server is pretty good with Tangle Angler. And again, other poison guys. Here we see some more black poison guys, some white cards. Golem Foundry, which is not really the plan unless you have multiple Thrumming Birds and a Metalcraft deck. So I guess I am going to have to keel to the peer pressure and take the Contagious Nim, which I probably should have been doing the whole time, but I thought it would be quite interesting to try the other way. Here we already have 2 Untamed Mites, and Bladed Pinions is a card I actually quite like for poison, simply because it makes them really hard to beat in combat. Evasion poison guys are pretty good. Putting on Contagious Nim is pretty sweet. Even like Blight Mama turns it into a Plague Stinger, which is one of the better guys. Hopefully we'll get some Sis Bears or something. Here, while as much as I love these Teldrillad Fallens, and I really like Carrion Call, Ichor Clomber is a really good 2-drop for the poison deck. So I'm going to take this right now because you really need early plays in order to get people. Sigh, alright, yes, here's the Plague Stinger. Flesh Allergy is a card I think a lot of people underestimate because it kills basically everything in a set other than, say, Molten Tail Massacre. While the damage never actually matters when you're poisoning them to death, simply having a way to sacrifice some irrelevant guy that's been arrested, clearing out some massive blocker that they would otherwise think's immune to removal, is really good. Here, I'm not really interested in any of these cards. The only card I might play is the Molder Beast if I get some more Tainted Strikes, well, any Tainted Strikes, and the Grafted Exoskeleton. Well, there's a Contagious Nim back, rewarding me for picking terribly earlier. So it seems like perhaps pack 1 was actually just an anomaly where there were no black poison guys opened at the table, because if there were black poison decks, I would assume they would probably want some Contagious Nims in their deck. Here, none of these cards again are very exciting to me. I'd rather not play against this guy simply because he's cheaper. Checking me out, pretending not to rare draft. Again, I'll just take some more cards that seem vaguely annoying to have to deal with. CC Initiative is lets them trade for one of my guys, well, kill off one of my guys, which is not what I want them to do. Time to start hiding everything that I don't really intend to play. Like this Thrumming Bird.